Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. We're going to talk more about Disneyland because, my God, there's a lot of Disneyland news lately, and it's not good news. Between the fist fight in Toontown and the drama surrounding the virtually empty park because of Galaxy's Edge, there hasn't been a lot of good buzz about Disneyland this week. So now it gets even worse. We talked before about the rumors that Disneyland was actually going to lay people off, and that circulated on Twitter. I believe the original poster took the tweets down. I don't know if Disney got to them and said, hey, don't talk about this. But now it's coming out that Disney has actually instituted a hiring freeze in Disneyland, and there are more cutbacks coming. Again, this is in reaction to much slower than usual crowds at Disneyland. Galaxy's Edge did not bring the people to the parks like they expected. There are a number of reasons for that. Personally, I think it's a combination of the AP blackouts and the general lack of interest in Star Wars, especially for a land that only has one of the two attractions open. The second attraction is not going to open in Disneyland until January. So the locals just aren't coming out. They're not going to, pay through the nose to go see one ride that is getting mixed reactions, right? So Mice Chat, which is a pretty popular Disney fan blog, put this out the other day, and now other media outlets are picking up on it. And we're going to see how, Disney tends to work the media. They know how Google News works, and we're going to see why I believe they made the announcements they made regarding the second attraction opening, and I think it was to bury the bad news. So Mice Chat put this out the other day. It got picked up by the OC Register, and they're talking about the cutbacks coming to Disneyland, the hiring freeze. Disneyland is cutting budgets and shows during slower than normal summer season, blog reports. Yeah, this, should be peak season for Disneyland. Normally, Disneyland, June, July, August is peak season, but again, because of Galaxy's Edge, because of these blackout dates, I think they way overestimated the crowds that were going to come just to see half of Galaxy's Edge. Park officials point out that 1,600 new jobs were just added. So Disney's doing damage control. Mice Chat put this out, and then Disney chimed in to of course, put a positive spin on it. They always do this. Even if there's bad news, there has to be a silver lining. And I don't think Walt really played that game. I think Walt was very blunt sometimes, but current Disney culture is that there always has to be a silver lining, even when things are really bad. All right, from the OC Register, one of the most popular Disneyland fan blogs is reporting that company officials have instituted resort-wide budget cutbacks in Anaheim, including shows and freezing some positions in the wake of an unexpectedly slow summer attendance season. MiceChat.com reported Wednesday that all departments have been asked to cut labor hours and make other cuts as necessary, reporting that entertainment, custodial, and other non-essential jobs were being cut, including a scale back of the new Lion King show and a closure of the Red Car Newsboys show at Disney California Adventure. Maybe there weren't enough cast members to deal with that fight in Toontown, right? So Disney officials point out that the park just added 1,600 new jobs to prepare for the opening of Galaxy's Edge, and continues to be Orange County's largest employer with 31,000 employees. They rejected the blog's characterization that the park currently has a hiring freeze. Well, there's a couple things going on here. One, they did add new employees for Galaxy's Edge, but they also had a pretty major labor dispute. And, that was very well publicized in the OC Register and other places. So it could be that the employees they have too are costing them a lot more. But really, if people were coming to Disneyland in the numbers they expected, they would be able to pay the staff, and that's not happening. So this is what Disney said. They corrected Mice Chat. Like any business, we adjust our pace of hiring based on business needs, and this is nothing new, officials said. They said jobs are still posted on the Disneyland Careers website. They also said that the Red Car Newsboys show was closed because of declining viewership due to renovations to the trolley cars that were the backdrop for the show. Yeah, they're working on Marvel Land now in California Adventure, so that could be part of it. But, this happened last year in Disney World. When crowds were soft, they started making cuts to things that weren't necessary. A lot of the shows, the musicians, the street performers, those positions got cut because they did not view them as being necessary. They closed down Rafiki's Planet Watch temporarily last year in Animal Kingdom because it wasn't a very highly trafficked area. They closed that down. So yeah, when Disney feels the pinch, they closed. I mean, they're not going to close down Pirates of the Caribbean or anything like that, but they definitely will start cutting back on things that they don't view as being necessary. So most people had expected the parks to be packed this summer with crowds coming to see the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. Resort officials blocked out most annual pass holders for much of the summer, stopped offering free admission to cast members and their guests, and raised prices in anticipation of the crowds. Worked out real well, didn't it? However, many of the most ardent fans came to see the new land during the preview period, and others stayed away, perhaps put off by the expectation of crowds or higher prices. The higher prices are a thing too. Disney keeps jacking the food prices. God, it's like $7 or $8 for a pretzel now, and that's up from like $4 or $5 just a couple of years ago. In response, Disneyland began once again allowing free admission for cast members and their guests, and is also offering a half price deal to annual pass holders. Please come to Disneyland and bring your friends for $99 each for the park hopper tickets. Yeah, so they're definitely, that is kind of a desperate move, right? Todd Regan, who runs the Mice Chat blog under the pen name Dusty Sage, said he expects the crowds to return next month when most annual pass holders are no longer blocked out. We don't expect this lull to last very long, he says. I don't know. I don't know. So here's how Disney works this, right? Because we have this too with the low attendance. And then we talk about the brawl in Toontown. Again, this is hitting all the major news outlets, and they're talking about how they followed safety protocols in Toontown. And again, it's just the fact that, I mean, this kind of stuff does happen at Disneyland. It just doesn't get broadcast as much as it has, thanks to the internet. So Disney said that they did follow established safety protocols, and everybody's looking into this fight. The police are looking into the fight. It's crazy to watch. I think people just think that this kind of thing can't happen at a Disney park, but it does. So between that and Galaxy's Edge, if you go out to Google News and you just type in Disneyland, for the longest time, we did a video on this, almost all of the news was about the low crowds in Galaxy's Edge, the low turnout at Disneyland, and the fight at Toontown. So what do you do to drown that out? You put out a press release talking about Galaxy's Edge, all the buzzwords, Galaxy's Edge, Disneyland, etc. And what happens? You put the press release out talking about the second ride, and it pushes down the bad news. I mean, this is still the top story, but if you search for Galaxy's Edge, now the top news is that the second ride will open in Disneyland in January. You're pushing down the bad news about the crowds. You're pushing down the bad news about the fight. So that's, again, we were actually called out by a pretty sizable Disney-focused YouTube channel, and they said we didn't know what we were talking about. And I beg to differ, because we actually ran a pretty successful Disney theme park blog for a number of years, and this is exactly what Disney does. They know how to work the news. They know how to work the media, and they're pushing the bad news down. They want you to forget that the crowds are bad at Disneyland, or they're going to put a positive spin on it and be like, oh, hey guys, we got this great deal for you. Come on in. Our guest satisfaction's through the roof because it's a 10-minute wait for Pirates of the Caribbean. Come on over to Disneyland. We've got deals, bargains. That's what they want you to see. So just give it a couple days, and as long as news outlets stop talking about it, all of this bad news is going to get washed away, except for YouTube. They can't control YouTube. They try, but they can't. So that's what's going on here, in my opinion. But it is pretty telling. It is pretty telling that they are, apparently, freezing a lot of positions. Again, we've heard about layoffs, and it's people have called it an overcorrection. They hired way more people probably than they needed, thinking that Galaxy's Edge was going to be this massive hit, and so far it's been a dud. So we'll keep an eye on this. It is going to open in Disney World next month, the end of next month. I do expect bigger crowds in Disney World than Disneyland for a number of reasons, just because of the kind of park it is, the kind of crowd that it draws. Disney World tends to draw a global audience who come for a week, and they stay for a week long or more. vacation, where Disneyland is definitely a locals park. People, pop in and out. They come in for a day. They come in after work. They come in on the weekends. Very, very different audience. I do not believe we're going to have this kind of failure at Disney World, but they still might not bring in the crowds they're expecting, because I've heard from travel agents that the bookings are way down. It's not what Disney expected. They hurried up and opened some hotels, some hotel expansions, in anticipation of Galaxy's Edge being this slam dunk sellout experience, and just people are not that excited for it. They're really not. Meanwhile, across town, the Hagrid coaster has a 10-hour wait, so go figure. So yeah, please subscribe to Clownfish TV for more pop culture news, views, and rants, gaming videos, and more. We'll talk to you later. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.